Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm gonna give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Start your day with Quaker Protein Instant Oatmeal. The instant oatmeal ready to help you tackle whatever your day brings. Like wrangling your toddler into their car seat. That was fun. Coaching your 6th graders soccer team. Go girls! And carrying all the groceries in one trip. Whew. Try Quaker Protein Instant Oatmeal, Granola, and Bars. Great taste and a good source of protein. Quaker, bring out the good.
K-pop demon hunters Haja Boy's breakfast meal and Huntrix meal have just dropped at McDonald's. They're calling this a battle for the fans. What do you say to that, Rumi?
It's not a battle. So glad the Saja Boys could take breakfast and give our meal the rest of the day.
It is an honor to share.
No, it's our honor.
It is our larger honor.
No, really. Stop.
You can really feel the respect in this battle. Pick a meal to pick a side.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's while supplies last.
No one goes to Hank's for his spreadsheets. They go for a darn good pizza. Lately, though, the shop's been quiet, so Hank decides to bring back the $1 slice. He asks Copilot in Microsoft Excel to look at his sales and costs and help him see if he can afford it. Copilot shows Hank where the money's going and which little extras make the dollar slice work. Now Hank has a line out the door. Hank makes the pizza, Copilot handles the spreadsheets. Learn more at m365copilot.com/work.
This episode is brought to you by Ferrero. Soccer's biggest stage is approaching, and Ferrero is making it easy to go all in. Pick any 2 Ferrero brands from Kinder Bueno to Ferrero Rocher, and you could win the $1 million grand prize, plus an exciting range of daily and weekly prizes. Don't miss your shot. Official rules apply. Learn more at goallinandwin.com.
The comments made by Amin Elhassan are made by him and him himself and nobody else, and not indicative of Basketball Illuminati, Tom Haberstroh, Anthony Mays, or any guest incorporated.
Interesting clip here because Giannis Antetokounmpo, I don't think he's done a press conference, or maybe he has talked about the Doc Rivers thing. I did see a in the tunnel conversation with him interview, but there was an extremely loud siren going off in the back, which is, I think, why it hasn't gone viral or people talked about it. But Bobby Portis being the voice of Giannis is actually really fun here because he joined Run It Back with Michelle Beadle. And when Michelle asked,
what kind of coach are we thinking he wants? Like, what vibe are we looking for next here?
I would say something like a Mike Budenholzer type of vibe.
A Mike Budenholzer type of vibe.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
You know, something that's close to that. Something that's about culture.
Great coach.
You know what I'm saying? Something that's about, holding guys accountable. Something that's about, standing for the right things.
I thought we covered the Bucks last week in the cold open. I'm like, it's bad. Things are bad. And then a whole other week, the aftermath of the Shams tell-all story. Because not only was Bobby Portis on Run It Back, but Doc Rivers was on Run It Back last week to address the allegations of the Google Me. And he basically threw Cam Thomas under the bus, of all people, which was fascinating.
When you have articles like this, there's one guy talking, which is pretty obvious if you read the article who it is. But it was taken out of context to what I was trying to say. I had a guy that kept talking about his stats. And so I was basically saying the same thing. Well, I have stats too, Right. Yeah. So it was more taken out of context of what was said.
He blamed Cam Thomas, even though quite clearly in the story it said 6 sources reported that he bragged about his resume. Okay, cool, dude.
I like how that's his way of, I cleaned it up there.
What?
Oh, now I get it. Man, it's totally out of context. The context makes it worse.
Yeah, he tried to claim viral decontextualization,
And the problem was, when contextualized, it went even more viral.
Where's Woj? I miss Woj so much. That was the first.
No, Doc, don't say it.
I like when Portis is saying Mike Budenholzer will hold people accountable in the locker room. You know who was supposed to hold people accountable and was marketed as a guy that was going to hold people accountable in the Milwaukee Bucks locker room? Doc Rivers. And you know who said that? It was Lou Williams on Run It Back.
Oh my God.
A quote from April 8th, 2024.
I played for Doc before. He's one of those type of guys when there's some slippage there, he likes to get everybody in the room and be held accountable.
Can I open the door for another possibility? That the Doc Rivers that Lou Williams played for is long gone. He played for him a decade ago. That was a Doc that was younger and full of energy and still had a pristine reputation.
You didn't have to Google him. You just knew him.
The 3-1 leads thing hadn't multiplied, for one. And for two, he's still 10 years ago very close to, I'm the guy who led the Clippers out of the darkness of the Donald Sterling shit, right? So because he's that guy, yeah, I'm engaged. Now this is a Doc who's like, man, fuck all this shit. I don't need this shit. You don't have the same energy levels to do all of that stuff. Remember, they had to talk him into taking the job to begin with. By talking, I mean they sent a lot of money his way.
Money, please.
Oh, no, there's no money.
Oh, my bad. No problem.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. I'll just destroy this office.
Oh, hey!
Money, please. Money, please.
Ben, give her some money. It's easier.
8 figures is what Shams reported. 8-figure deal for next season. They still owe him 8-figure deal.
That's why he's going to be a consultant. That's the way you do it. You make the guy watch some draft film and shit like that and ask him his opinion, come into a couple of meetings, boom, you earned your money.
Have we ever had a bigger feud between a newsbreaker and an organization than Shams and the Bucks? Because the way he aired them out on McAfee.
Listen, the reality of everything in Milwaukee is this. If they spent as much time dealing with their own internal dynamics and problems as they do responding to accurate reports, they wouldn't be in the mess that they're in right now. I'm just focused on doing the job at the highest of levels that I possibly can.
He's feeling himself.
Yeah.
Shams is really enjoying this.
He's strutting for sure. Yes, have we ever had a newsbreaker do this? It depends. Your definition of newsbreaker, is Stephen A. Smith a newsbreaker?
Sure.
He was once.
His is personal. Him and LeBron have, I guess LeBron is an organization all of his own.
Skip Bayless and LeBron, too.
Him and the Knicks, when the Knicks were bad.
But isn't that more like his
personal feeling?
Childhood fandom?
Yeah.
It's not business, yeah.
Well, you could say that the aforementioned Adrian.
Where's Woj? I miss Woj so much.
Although it was more of a Cold War, he would have grudges against certain organizations and as a result made it a point to bring them down.
But that's manipulating news and it's not like you guys suck.
You're talking about he said, she said.
It's very funny to me how Shams, and I wouldn't say that he's stepping out of line in any way. If anything, the Bucks stepped out of line in various facets, but the personal vendetta that Shams has with apparently the Bucks top to bottom is tough. Tough for the Bucks somehow.
I don't know, man. I kind of feel like he just reported and now he's reacting to what they have put out there. Specifically, they were talking about Doc Rivers. I don't know. Is it any different from Stephen A. Smith saying he's hearing rumors about Kevin Durant could possibly be going to da-da-da from sources? Kevin Durant saying Stephen A. Smith just makes shit up and Stephen A. saying you don't want to make an enemy out of me. Kind of the same, except, again, like you said, this is an organization versus Kevin Durant as an individual. Typically, you don't see it, I think, because newsbreakers and reporters feel like I can't burn that bridge.
Right.
I can't basically punt on every Milwaukee story forever unless you're Shams and you've ascended to a level of unquestioned dominance to where you got the WNBA news breaking through him. And that ruffled a lot of feathers from the career WNBA reporters, the people who had been camping out at the CBA negotiations in the hotel lobby and all that stuff, for that news to break through someone who does not cover it at all, it speaks to two different things. It speaks, one, to the range that Shams has in terms of his reach. And as a result, him as an institution. What are you going to do? Milwaukee going to freeze me out? You can't. This is how news gets out. So it's interesting. I'm friends with Shams. I'm friends with a lot of newsbreakers. I've been very public in thinking that news breaking is kind of the dumbest shit ever when it's not that kind of news. This report on the Bucks, this is news breaking. Mm-hmm. Hey, these were things that were said. These are things that happened, et cetera, et cetera. This is actually great work. But the transactional stuff, I think, is kind of meaningless and pointless for us to place an importance on stuff that we're going to find out about anyway.
6 people reported to Shams about that meeting. Doc Rivers did.
Yeah.
Talk about a flex.
Well, that's not the context, Tom.
Well, the other part is Jamal Collier of ESPN, who covers the Bucks more on a day-to-day. He contributed on that story too. So 6 people reported it. Did they report it to Shams? Did they report it to Jamal? We don't know that part, but I don't think it really matters. It matters is that we got a story that probably wasn't going to get out otherwise.
My assignment: uncover why the association inspires more conspiracy theories in volume and salience than any other U.S. sport.
You've heard of the Illuminati.
The truth is out there, but so are lies.
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
The NBA has always been controlled by about 8 people.
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses.
If you're only using 10% of your brain, you don't even know that you're using 10% of your brain.
The NBA Illuminati.
If coincidences are just coincidences, why do they feel so contrived?
The Illuminati.
But you start to follow the money, and you don't know where the f*** it's going to take you.
It is unspoken. They have influence among other players.
The NBA Illuminati.
I don't have time for your convenient ignorance.
Maybe I'm a conspiracist now as well.
That's all it took. Oh, we got books, we got schools. You saw a video on YouTube.
Why am my eyes, sir? You've never used them before.
We are the basketball Illuminati.
This is Basketball Illuminati. I am Tom Haberstroh, and as always, we are joined by the 5-star Illuminati generals Amin Elhassan and producer Anthony Mays.
What's up, Illumination? Thank you for keeping your third eye open. As always, you can support us at patreon.com/countthedings. That'll get you ad-free episodes and help us continue to produce the show. Also, check out our YouTube page at Basketball Illuminati. You can watch our Truth Teller interviews and Do You Believe episodes there. Please subscribe and continue to show your support. Thank you.
We've got a 3-time Truth Teller guest returning to the program. Keep your third eye open. Jared Weiss of The Athletic, not just the correspondent on the Spurs and the NBA writ large. It's also one of the weirdest, most interesting stories about an NBA star that you'll read anywhere. It's about Devin Booker and this art icon in the desert, in the middle of a crater, a volcanic crater. You're going to hear a lot about that and about Keldon Johnson's horses and their names. Coming up.
Hello, listener. Producer Mays here to talk to you about the perfect gene. Allow me to be vulnerable here for a minute. As you may or may not know, I've got a lot of childhood trauma, and it almost entirely centers around buying pants. As a lifelong sufferer of tall man syndrome, I've never been able to find a pair of pants that fit in the store. I had to go to those special freak stores, places with more X's than an adult video store. It was a nightmare. But now, the perfect gene has entered my life. They've got 6 fits, a size range from 26 to 50-inch waists, and lengths up to 38, giving you 5,000 plus ways to find your perfect match. So it's not just for my fellow sufferers of TMS, that's tall man syndrome, but thick thigh kings can find their perfect jeans as well. And for a limited time, our listeners get 15% off their first order plus free shipping at theperfectgene.nyc, or just Google The Perfect Gene and use code DINGS15 for 15% off. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectgene.nyc with promo code DINGS15. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Fuck your khakis and get The Perfect Gene. Hello, listener. Producer Mays here to talk to you about Quince Cookware. I know cooking can feel like a lot of work these days, especially when the temptation to order takeout is stronger than ever. But trust me when I say that quality cookware makes a big difference in your experience cooking at home. Quince has got top-tier pots and pans, like my favorite, the extremely versatile and easy-to-clean 3-quart stainless steel sauté pan that you'd expect to find at a luxury store, but for 50 to 60% less. You heard me right. High-quality materials for half the price. How could such a thing be possible? Well, Quince works directly with manufacturers, cutting out the middlemen and passing the savings on to you. Now, Quince even carries fine wine, from Napa Valley Vineyards to Dom Perignon Champagne, enough to fill the Nile. Ho-ho! So what are you waiting for? Upgrade your kitchen with Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. Go to QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings.
I am your host, Stassi Schroeder. Welcome to Tell Me Lies, the official podcast. What's the most unhinged thing of season 3?
Steven, because he's so evil.
I do think he is misunderstood.
You see everyone face consequences. It's intoxicating.
The writers just know how to trick you.
There's always a twist in this show. It's nothing you would expect.
Tell Me Lies, the official podcast, now streaming, and stream the new season of Tell Me Lies on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Amazon presents Jeff versus Taco Truck Salsa. Whether it's Verde, Roja, or the orange one. For Jeff, trying any salsa is like playing Russian roulette with a flamethrower. Luckily, Jeff saved with Amazon and stocked up on antacids, ginger tea, and milk. Habanero? More like habanero, yes. Save the everyday with Amazon.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. With a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
You all think I'm late. Well, I'm not late. And I'm going to stay right here and fight for this lost cause. Even if this room gets filled with lies like these. And the Taylors and all their armies come marching into this place. Somebody will listen to me.
There's no better way to overpower a trickle of doubt than with a flood of naked truth.
But the complexity and the gray lie not in the truth, but what you do with the truth once you have it.
What is true and right is true and right for all.
You and I both know that that's just not the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
It's too messy. Keeps them up nights.
I'm here because in the end, the truth is worth the risk.
Speak a little truth and people lose their minds.
I'm a grown man. You can tell me the truth.
Why is it people who want the truth never believe it when they hear it?
So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something really outrageous. I'm going to tell the truth.
Welcome back, Jared.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome to my life.
You know,
good to have you here.
How many MVP votes did Victor Wembanyama garner by just doing math on the fly? Can you explain like what happened there in that press conference?
Well, the human calculator, as he's been known his entire career, obviously. What was funny is he breaks the fourth wall every once in a while. And I don't know what made him want to do it this time. I think, honestly, what it is just when he has a question, when we have a question, and then he in turn has a question, he's just like, fuck it, why don't I ask? So it was his press conference. He decided to flip the script, and he just started calculating everything out because I think he was like genuinely trying to explore the concept in real time of what we were talking about. And nothing really stops him from doing whatever he wants.
Look at Amin's face right now.
Third eyes across the world are shut on this one. I'm going to open it up for you guys. Number one, half of that math wasn't hard. NBA media, just not good at math. That's why they're at NBA media. That's why they're writing stories as opposed to, I don't know, doing math. Number two, and this is important, he employed a very specific technique. I'm very familiar with this technique because I employ it sometimes too, which is to ask, like in a very vague way. Oh yeah, so it's 80% of that. What is that, like 22.9? You say it like that because you already know what the answer is, but you're trying to convey, I'm ballparking it. I don't actually, not doing the math calculations in my head, but when I ballpark it, people will think, ooh, he's really good at math. Look at him, the human calculator. I used to do this all the time. When when we talk about a player, and particularly like, hey, it doesn't he remind you a little bit of so-and-so from Brandon Roy? I'm like, yeah, but, he's a much better three-point shooter. He shoots 40% from three. I think Brandon Roy's best year was what? 32? I'll say it like that. When I have already looked it up and I know here's the advanced level. You don't say the exact number. You ballpark that number. So the exact number is 31. You say, it's something like 32. And it's plausible deniability. He didn't look it up beforehand. But man, he got really close. It's all a clever ruse. And it's endearing, clearly, because half of you fucks can't even do math, and the other half just want to believe that everything about him is so incredible.
The added layer is, of course, the Wemby face. Look at this face.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
This is the thinking face of a man doing 75 times 20.
Which is the easiest thing. 75 times 2 is 150. Add a 0 on it. That's it.
One's the easiest one. This was the one where he's definitely embellishing a little bit because he did 50 times 35 off the rip, 1750.
Yes, it's half of 35 and then multiply that. That's not. This isn't math, folks. This isn't math. This is
what you're saying, Amin, is that when he goes, hey, what's 75% of 82? That's
that
61 and a half. You're saying he already did that going into this interview and already knew that he was going to. This is what's his name? Oz, the mind reader.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
That he already knows the answer and he has to get people to that answer in order for him to look like he's right.
Third eye open, folks.
Jared, do you have any? Is your third eye? Do you have a fourth eye on this one? That actually the third eye is lying to Amin here.
He's got to start with his third eye first because he's been going to two eyes. I can see it. I can look.
I'm kind of four eyes right here with the glasses going, but I've been around Wemby long enough to have several eyes from several different vantage points, constantly doing the work for me. And in a world of AI, these are just agents. These are just agents that I am programming and letting them go off and do their thing, and they'll bring me the information they need eventually. And the only information I needed is that, sure, Wemby may not be a math genius relative to you or I, a couple of geniuses here, but to most of the American public education system, I would say him just doing 10 times 10 off the rip is probably pretty impressive.
Facts.
That's it exactly, Jared. It's the French education system versus the American education system,
which is what this podcast is really about. I mean,
that's what I've been smuggling in over hundreds of episodes at this point. Is the baccalaureate is actually where it's at. This is elementary for Victor Wembanyama to actually do math in his head. But if you compare him to other NBA players or even NBA media, wow, oh, look at this magic trick by the alien. Oh, look at the puppet dance. But, ask Rudy Gobert some of these questions. Let's see how he does.
Probably well.
Bilal Coulibaly, perhaps. Maybe he'll be able to do a little percentage off the top of his head.
Zachary Research.
Don't we have Rudy Gobert? Don't we have Rudy Gobert on line one to tell us if this is impressive or not? I mean, Victor Wembanyama might win Defensive Player of the Year over Rudy in part because he's the human. Yeah.
Victor is going to win? No, mais non. No, Victor, 75% of 82. How about 66% of 300 is 200?
What?
Yeah.
We cannot do math. Les mathématiques. C'est pas difficile.
That means it's not difficult. That's what he said in French.
I want to hear Rudy go.
I'm a French genius now because I translated it on the fly. Oh, wait, maybe I should have done a face.
Yeah, you should have done a face.
I think he meant, yes, it's not difficult. Yeah, there you go.
You gotta hold the microphone too. I've noticed that I feel like this is a trend of like, if you want to be a face of the league, you want to be a truly elite player, you have to hold the microphone when you're at the podium.
It's spreading. Remember when Dirk did it and it was like, this weird German dude, just leave the mic alone, and he would just sit back. He'd be very casual in his post-game presses, especially since back then, if you were on the podium, that means it was a playoff game. We didn't do this for regular season games. And now it's an epidemic. Everyone picked up the mic off the thing and just sit back like they're Bill Cosby doing stand-up, sitting in a stool.
Why do you have to choose Bill Cosby of everybody?
Because he used to sit down.
Because it's a meme.
Yeah, no, Amin's just always got to veer into...
Because I'm a stand-up comedy genius. Let me remember a comedian who would sit down doing his stand-up. Oh, yeah, Bill Cosby.
If it was a musician, it would have been R. Kelly. It's just the way he rolls.
R. Kelly doesn't sit down.
But he holds a microphone.
Does hold it, yeah.
Wait, so Wemby, he made the 65-game threshold. The rib contusion that he suffered... and then he came back and played. Do you think that Wemby has now put himself in a position where the 65-game rule could come back to bite him in a way, that he was playing to get the 65 games, suffered this rib contusion, and now I feel like in the post, whoever they play, the Spurs, they're just going to be sharp elbows all the time, man.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the irony is the team they're most likely going to face, and we're taping this before the play-in, is Phoenix. And Phoenix's whole game plan this year has been, we're going to have a bunch of like fours just like beat the crap out of him at every single layer. So he's going to need extra padding on his ribs. He didn't like he played in that game. He didn't suffer another injury. It didn't make it like worse. Like it hurt a little bit, but like it'll heal up over the next week and a half. So he should be fine. I don't think he did anything that was like completely irresponsible. Guys play sore. It happens. The reason he left that game with the rib contusion was because the game wasn't important. The one that he left, like he would have kept playing if it was an important game. Guys get hurt at this time of year. A rib contusion injury, it's an important injury, but it's one that you can play through and it can heal and all that. So I didn't think it was a big deal. I think you're missing, your third eye must be like still crusty or something, because you're missing the big scandal here with Wemby and the 65-game rule, which is that he didn't actually play 65 regular season games this year. He actually bent the rules.
This is my favorite thing ever.
Classic Wemby move here. I'm going to play 64-game rules, and 64 games, and I'm still going to qualify because fuck the haters. The NBA Cup final is the most important game of the regular season, as we all know, but it doesn't count in the official stats, just like the play-in doesn't count in the official stats. It makes no sense. So I think Wemby, he sat out those games, not because he was hurt, but because he wanted to hold truth to power to make sure that the NBA Cup final actually counts in official stats going forward, because that's what great leaders do.
A game that doesn't exist until it exists. A game that the stats disappear into the ether until someone needs to win an award, and then all of a sudden it counts.
This is now the Wemby rule.
I'll tell you why. Exactly. Right. So once upon a time, NBA players, their salary was for a game was 1/82nd of their entire salary, right? So you got suspended for a game, you got suspended 1/82nd, right? And then I want to say it was Mark West in like 80-something got traded from the Cavs to the Suns. And as a factor of the quirk in the schedule, he ends up playing 83 games. His agent then says, my client is underpaid and needs to get that extra part. So what the NBA did was they changed it to basically 1/110th of your salary as a single game. That 82, that 110 factors in the 82 plus the maximum possible number of games you could play in the playoffs, which is 28, 110. Boom. The play-in and the NBA Cup final both represent above and beyond the regular season and playoff games. So if they were to count the stats, now those games count in a way that would not count if we treat them like preseason games. So that means you would have to be paid extra. So what the league does is says, these games don't count other than just to determine certain things. And that way they don't have to pay the players extra for that extra game.
I can't wait for our next lockout when a player protests because they played in the cup final. They won they lost and then won a play-in game and then went on to win a championship in a 7-7-7-7. And they're like, what the hell? Where's my extra 3 games here? I want that money.
Well, I think they locked that up iron tight. Like they don't have to worry about that anymore because of the way it's written. I mean, again, this is why when you ask them, hey, why don't play-in stats count? Because they don't. Well, why not? Because they don't. Are we going to keep track? We're not keeping track. That's all. They just kept saying no. They never told us why. Even if we have a separate category for, hey, who's scored the most points in play-in history, they won't even track that part. Because if they do, now it's real.
Yeah, I did research on the play-in tournament. Like for the Blazers, like, how many times does the 8 seed get into the play-in tournament? And you could not find the answer, or the playoffs. You could not get the answer on NBA. You could not.
The games don't count.
And the only place that has that source of information is the almighty Wikipedia. So I'm citing Wikipedia data. And even on Basketball Reference, it's hard to find play-in data. But like that 1 out of 82, people think that's like a big number. It's a small percentage. It's like 1.1. 1.2.
You want me to bring in Wemby for
5%?
Calculate this.
It's not that big of a number.
Get those eyebrows.
I mean, I think it's actually closer to like 1.24, but I don't know. Off the top, I just don't know the answer to that.
Wow, Tom.
You know what I love is every time you bring up that Wemby clip, it shows like the Illuminati logo behind it just to make sure that we see the logo before we start processing the image, just so that it's subliminally planted in our heads.
Oh, yeah. Subliminal.
Can I continue to hijack the pod? I have another question here for Tom.
Yeah, let's go.
What did you think of Mike Breen's rant? I don't know what to call it. Speech on the local broadcasters losing out the first round as someone who is, for the most part, elevating the Blazers podcast to a completely different level. Because I agree with them. It's heartbreaking that we don't get our local guys and girls.
Let me answer on behalf of
we're
Tom.
cutting this one from the final pod, are we?
This is Luther, the anger translator right now.
Yeah, let me answer on behalf of Tom. And here in Phoenix, I got Eddie Johnson, and we've got Ryan Hollins in Houston, and all the people across the land, including Mike Breen, who, remember, before he's the ESPN lead play-by-play voice, he is the lead play-by-play voice for Madison Square Garden Network. This is an extra bit of money. We want to go 1 out of 82 on these. It's an extra check.
1.219%.
Yep.
Yep.
That they're all missing out on.
Genius.
It's beyond the fans miss our voices and our local coverage. Sure. Also, a lot of you guys are out of some money. And that sucks. I'm all for it. But at the end of the day, I don't think we live in an era where people are starved for a local perspective in terms of analysis. Meaning, and look at Tom's giving me death stare right now. Like, hey. That's the meaning. Like, there's going to be no shortage of Blazers-centric coverage surrounding the game. Just they won't be broadcasting the game.
How dare you? I will say, Mike Breen, it's great that he's speaking up because he is a national TV broadcaster, the NBA Finals broadcaster. So he can stand on this. right?
Third eye open. He's also the Knicks broadcaster. He's not doing this for Spiro Ditas or who's the backup over there. Alan Hahn. He's not doing it for them.
Shitting all over the local bro. Who's the backup over there for the Knicks? Amin, do you realize that the double bang call with the Moose game, the sports betting scandal that we did, that whole call from the Knicks sideline, the courtside shot of Carmelo Anthony with our guy Amar, that was from the local broadcast. Mike Breen.
That wasn't an ESPN game? That wasn't national?
The double bang shot from Dante DiVincenzo, that was the local broadcast. And so when Carmelo is high-fiving a guy who's been in trouble for the sports betting scandal in the NBA and the Jonte Porter case, that was because the first round of the NBA playoffs has a local broadcast, and that is no longer here. So we got the gift that we were seeking.
Well, you know what? There's plenty of radio calls that are local that'll be going on throughout the entirety of the playoffs. Support your local radio guys. Shout out to Jason Jackson in Miami. He's only got like one or two of these left.
So wait, you're supporting Jason Jackson, but not me sitting right here on the show? You're like, whatever, you'll find coverage.
We can only support one bald guy at a time.
TV fat cats, man. You guys need to be cut down, knocked down a peg. I'm a radio guy at my heart, Tom Haberstroh. Always remember that. Before I podcasted, before I did TV, I was on radio first. Always a radio. Once a radio guy, always a radio guy. You know what? We all stick together around here. Radio guys. My guy John Bloom here in Phoenix, JB. We all stand together. Radio guys. Steve Holman in Atlanta.
What is happening right now?
I don't know.
Aren't you a national radio guy? Aren't you the problem?
Yeah, but we don't butt out our local people. We support them. We bring them on our shows and shit like that.
Fair enough.
These TV fat cats, they want it a different way.
Amin mentioned Eddie Johnson and the Phoenix Suns. I want to talk about this story because, Jared, you are not just the human calculator correspondent, the alien correspondent of extraterrestrial life forces. What about the terrestrial correspondent here on Earth? You went and did this story for The Athletic that just dropped today on Tuesday. One of the most fascinating NBA stories I've read in a long time, just completely off the normal path and quite literally into a portal into a different dimension. So, Jared, can you explain the Devin Booker story that you dropped on The Athletic today?
Yeah, when you asked me to come on the show, I was like, oh man, timing has never been better. This is an Illuminati story through and through. So I'll tell you how the story came together. So there is an artist, my favorite artist, my greatest inspiration. His name is James Turrell. You've probably heard of him if you were a Kanye fan before. At least we knew he was a Nazi. I think it was the Dark Twisted Fantasy movie that he made for that album. He shot it at this spectacular, remarkable place that looked too good to be true. It looked like a Stanley Kubrick set or something like that. It's this place in the desert called the Rodin Crater. It is literally a volcanic crater. Yep, here we go. That has been built. It's not even done. It has been under construction for 50 plus years by Turrell, who is this artist that does these massive light installations. He does naked eye observatories where you're in this spectacular space with a hole in the ceiling so you can see the sky from a totally different lens. All of his work is all about manipulating your senses to expand your mind and to change your connection to the earth and the sky and the cosmos. And so it's my favorite work. I have a neon light flooding one of my walls in my apartment right now that kind of mimic the experience that I get when I'm at a Turrell piece. He's one of the most famous artists in the world if you're into contemporary art. And Devin Booker was lucky enough to go visit the crater, which is only open to invited guests because it's still technically under development. And so I was sitting in one of Turrell's sky spaces, as they're called, that are open to the public in Scottsdale back in November before a Suns game. And I was talking.
Is this when we went to dinner that night?
Yeah, exactly. And
like, I got something to do. I'm like, what you gonna do?
And so I was talking to this guy that was sitting there, and this is a guy who's been to like almost every Turrell installation across the world. He knows everything about Turrell. And he mentions, Devin Booker went out to the crater. I was like, I can talk to Devin Booker. I should talk to him about the crater. So talked to Booker. Booker told me it was like walking into a portal to a different dimension, and the hair was standing up on his arm. He was getting goosebumps just remembering all the times he's gone out there. And I was like, you know what? This is my chance. I'm going to reach out to Turrell and see if he's down to talk. And sure enough, after about 5 months of trying to schedule it, we talked for almost 2 hours, and we talked about how he manipulates light, why he was fascinated by Booker and the bond that they formed. And so the story is about Booker going into this, literally this tunnel itself as you're seeing it, and finding not just himself, but finding a connection to like nature and the sky and this release that you get when you go into this meditative state in Turrell's work. And so the crater is this, it's literally a large volcanic crater that has been transformed into like one of the largest artworks on the face of the earth. And Booker is very lucky to go there. I'm hoping the Suns end up winning the play-in tournament just so I can go down to Phoenix and have a chance to go visit the crater, because Turrell is one of the most fascinating people on earth.
Yeah, this is an incredible story, and I'm learning about it on the fly. So excuse my ignorance on the Rodin crater and all that. But
actually, I'm going to put my hat on here just to get into my James Turrell vibe.
Wow. For those who are not watching, Jared Weiss is now wearing a cowboy hat with some sort of, I don't know what animal skin is on the top of that, but
I think it's just a little cow bandana kind of vibe, I think.
Okay, lovely.
If you've got spring fever, Lowe's has the cure. During Springfest, make your landscape stand out with 3 free bags of Miracle-Gro 3/4 cubic foot garden soil when you buy 3. Plus, get up to 40% off select major appliances to keep clothes, food, and dishes fresh all season long. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/22 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
I'm Richard Serrett. Join me on Strange Planet for in-depth conversations with the world's top paranormal investigators, alien abductees, Bigfoot trackers, monster hunters, time travelers, and more.
The handler one day told her this whole thing about how they've been terraforming on Mars, and they're building a colony, and they're recruiting specific people of specific bloodlines and specific talents and skill sets to go onto the planet.
On Richard Serrett's Strange Planet, we're redefining reality. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
You also went to Keldon Johnson's ranch as well?
All right, let me ask this question, because has Keldon Johnson always been like this, or is this got to San Antonio and like, wow, I really enjoy the culture, I'm going to be a cowboy now?
So he actually did grow up as a country boy, as he said. So he grew up in like rural Southern Virginia. He, fished, farm, like animals, all that stuff. It was a part of his childhood, but he always wanted to have his own ranch. So during the pandemic, it's funny, I ran into George Hill at the game right after, like the day I put the story out. And for those of you who don't know, George Hill owns like the largest, what's basically the largest like animal reserve in the country, or one of them. And he has like, it's basically the Serengeti. He has zebras.
He's from Indianapolis.
Exactly.
What are we doing here, man?
Listen, man, some of us want to be country boys. And if you're making $10 million a year, why not go for it? So KJ got inspiration once he saw George. He talked to George about like, how do I set this thing up? And he's got himself a nice little ranch going there. That horse right there, his name is Forrest. He has another one named Moo. He has a donkey that's named El Chapo, who he constantly calls an asshole. And actually, my favorite part of the day was El Chapo was like limping around. I was like, what happened? He goes, he's probably out there being an asshole trying to chase the llamas around and got hurt. So he had to call a vet just to take care of El Chapo.
You know why I like this horse right here? See his third eye? It's glowing.
Look at that. It's wide open.
That's the Illuminati horse right there. Well, actually, the Illuminati horse is the one at the Denver airport, but this is like the living incarnation of the Illuminati horse.
I still haven't seen Lucifer, and everyone gets mad at me when I say that.
Real?
See, look, every time I'm there, I somehow miss it. And this is what the exact reaction everyone has. I don't know. I somehow miss it every time.
It's massive.
I don't know. I keep missing it. My third eye completely shut.
Your two eyes are shut too. Apparently,
we'll have to send you there. Maybe in the second round, you can make a little trip down and find Lucifer, get some boots on the ground reporting.
Sure, I can do a live Illuminati correspondence from Lucifer. Get that one. See if I can get that one-on-one interview. I'll reach out to Denver Airport PR, see if we can set that up.
Should be no problem.
Yeah,
I'm reading now. George Hill's Animal Reserve is 800. Hold on. Yeah. 850 acre ranch, dwarfing the land areas of the biggest zoos in the country. You know how big 850 acres is? That's like,
I don't know. Let's ask Wemby.
It's like
how many kilometers?
1,000 football fields, or somewhere in the range of. No, it's actually probably closer to like 997 football fields. But no one. I mean, who's counting? You know.
Wemby's counting. For sure.
That's the math.
That's probably about 3 football fields, as you say. There you go. That's the point.
Wait, Jared, is this covering the NBA? What's your next bucket list thing that you're going to find a way to use the Athletics dime to go report out that story? Like the Devin Booker connection. You're like, oh, I found it. This is it. What's the next one?
Honestly, the Turrell was like my bucket list interview. That was like the number one person, dead or alive, I wanted to interview. So now I got to find a new dream. I've already met Amin, so I kind of like checked off everything off my bucket list. I guess.
Drank with Amin. You didn't drink Turrell, I bet.
That's very true. I didn't drink with Turrell yet. I don't know. Is
it a concert? Is it a meal? Is it something that you can?
Let's see. My friends just had dinner at French Laundry the other day. So if the Warriors somehow win the play and end up in the conference finals, I'll have to do something on.
You just gotta hook up with Festus. Festus has decided that he's a food influencer now in the Bay Area. Festus Ezeli. So just find a human interest piece on Festus, and then you and Festus can go to the French Laundry. It'll be great.
I don't know. Could we go to maybe the French Laundry? I don't know. Just any restaurant.
Tom's in on that too. If Tom can find a way to be a part of that story, you got to loop him in on that one.
Story about French Laundry, which to me has to be overrated. There's no way it's that good. There's no way it's that good.
Coming from a man who does most of his cooking in the microwave, I'm not going to take your word on this.
What are you talking about?
That's American Laundry right there.
Exactly. Look, just because I don't make it doesn't mean I can't taste it. I've been to fancy restaurants, really good restaurants. There's one called Durant's right here in Phoenix, downtown, not named after Kevin Durant, but it's a long-time old-school steakhouse. Delightful, delicious. Had it the other day. I've been all over the world, Maze. What are you talking about? I've had food in all types of countries.
And you've had no palate in any of them.
Says what? Says who?
Wait, hold on. I want to stick here. There's something in the story that Devin Booker that I'm a little unnerved by. Invited guests only. Okay, so this is the most Illuminati thing: is that Turrell will only let you in if he signs off on it. So, do you know anything about this inner circle that he can only invite you into this space?
Well, I mean, you have to be someone of not necessarily renowned, and that's one of the important things that we mention here is it's not about being famous, it's about being interesting and creative. He also he has a program with ASU where one of the kids in the art program there can come and visit every year too. So you could enroll at ASU if you'd like to go take a visit as well. I'm gonna see if I'll get the invite. We'll see, but hopefully doing a feature on him in the Athletic will be enough. We'll see.
I mean, I'm more interested in the other way around. So Turrell is a hoops head.
He is. He mentioned Gail Goodrich like 4 times in the interview. That's his old friend.
Oh,
that's awesome because he's from LA, right? So is he a Lakers fan?
From Southern California.
But Goodrich played for the Suns though, so
1 year. I looked it up. And that's how they became friends. He played. Or was it 2 seasons? But he made an all-star team in Phoenix.
Yeah. Who says I don't have a palate?
You're great at basketball stuff, but you just tried to take shots at the French Laundry. So I'd say pump your brakes, son.
It's $500 a head. Like,
it's probably more than that at this point, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, inflation is what, the percentage. I don't know. Is it what?
Straight of Hormuz.
10.765 for 8%. I mean, who's counting?
Hey, so it's a tasting menu, all right? So they bring out a bunch of things. One of the things they have is mac and cheese. If they run out of mac and cheese, you can get some more. You know how much it costs? $160? $160 mac and cheese. It's noodles and cheese. No chance.
What do you have against noodles and cheese? Those are two of the most delicious things on planet Earth. And you're
$160.
I mean, there's probably like a pound of white truffle shaved into that or something like that, I'd imagine.
What's the best pizzeria in America, I mean?
Pizzeria Bianco.
Oh, and it's just bread and cheese. Mm-hmm. What's the big deal?
It's not $160. That's the big deal.
It was like 30, 32.
Yeah,
it was worth it. It was worth it. It was great.
Of course it's worth it. It's
the highest margins in any restaurant is pizza, so it should be like 30 cents.
Mac and cheese got a higher margin than that. If you charge $160, it's got a higher margin. I guarantee it. Truffle.
Sounds like we need to start a mac and cheese bar, clearly.
Real quick, before we let you go there, Jared, this is a peek behind the curtain on when you have a big story like this. Were you secretly hoping the Suns would get the number 6 seed so we wouldn't have to worry about what if the Suns miss the playoffs and I have to get this out ASAP? The play-in tournament, it drops in the play-in tournament for a reason, folks.
Yeah. It actually worked out for the best because they are the biggest team playing on the slate. It's actually not going to kind of wash into the ether. Yeah.
Whoa, he's sitting right here.
I'm sorry, buddy, but you're not broadcasting the first round, so you're just not that important anymore. I'm sorry.
Scoot Henderson and them boys.
Actually, Jan Hansen erasure right there.
The Blazers were in town. I had a really good time watching them. It was my first time seeing them up close this season. They're a fun team. So, but it worked out that they are one of the two most important teams playing on the play-in slate. And so there's going to be more focus on them. And also they might end up playing the Spurs, who I cover. So I will be there anyway. So it kind of worked out that way. But I got lucky, frankly, because I got the Booker interview done in November. And I was like, I am going to sit on this interview until the day I die so that I always have an excuse to hit up Turrell and be like, hey, buddy, you want to talk? And thankfully, it finally happened. I was literally emailing them every 3 weeks because they initially said yes. And then I would follow up, be like, all right, let's set it up. And then didn't hear back I would email every 3 weeks. So I've been doing that for the past 5 months. And I was landing in San Francisco and I thought of Turrell. I was like, I should probably just send an email. And I was literally getting my bags at the airport where they emailed back being like, yeah, he's ready right now. And I was like, oh my God. So I ran back to the airport and got it done. And then was like, all right, I got a few weeks here. Why don't I set it up for when the Suns are playing in the postseason? So it worked out well. But yeah, there was definitely a little bit of sweat factor going on there, hoping that the timing would work out.
Here's the pitch. Wemby and Keldon Johnson and Mumu go to the road and crater.
Ooh,
with Devin Booker. What if that's the pitch? That's the bucket list where you get all of them in the crater
and
with Turrell.
No, of course.
My pitch was you gotta somehow get Wemby a new nickname, which is the French Laundry, because he's cleaning. He's cleaning everything out.
That's the end of his career when he's washed. We'll call him the French Laundry.
Yeah, I need his mac and cheese recipe.
You sit down with Wemby at the French Laundry in Napa. We've talked about Wemby's math skills, his mathematician, his multiplication, his 3 out of 4 percentage, but geometry is also math. And Jared, you got to witness Jokic on the fly solving the geometry of how to get a ball over Wemby's wingspan. So the calculus that went into that epic game from not the last game of the season, but the week before, what was that like watching that live?
You know what's funny is, maybe this is hubris talking, but the second I saw Jokic go up for that shot, I was like, that's going in. And maybe it's just that Jokic is that great, but there's something about him that it's like he can defeat whatever angles, whatever air pressure, whatever physically is conspiring against him, Jokic can dominate it. And it was funny. I was watching the Nuggets play the other day with a friend who doesn't watch basketball much. And I was trying to explain Jokic. And it was a funny exercise trying to explain Jokic to someone who doesn't know who that is. And I was like, just imagine someone that could do anything from anywhere at any moment. And that's why, like, when we look at the MVP debate or like who's the best player in the league, as spectacular as Wemby is, as much as his like intrinsic impact is probably the greatest, there is just something to the fact that Jokic, no matter where he is on the court, you always think that the shot's going to go in. And him and Steph are the only two players I can think of off the top of my head that I've always felt that with. So when he took that shot, the most ill-advised shot anybody could possibly take in the history of basketball, I was like, good shot. Good shot.
How about hot take here? Hot take.
Yes.
It wouldn't have been considered that crazy if it weren't for that camera angle of that cameraman. That was an awesome shot of him smothering Jokic and then a somber shuffle. And then you just see this giant being trying to block the shot and the ball goes right over the top. But the actual main perspective, it was a good shot, but not like an epic shot. So I kind of think the real MVP is that cameraman.
It's like Michael Jordan's shot against the Jazz in Game 6, 98, right? Like the regular broadcast angle is like, oh, he crossed him up and hit a shot. Wow, big shot. But the behind angle where you see the entire crowd kind of like terrified and he's holding that follow through, woof, goosebumps. Look at him right there.
I mean, Tom, I think the Sombor Shuffle, obviously it's got the branding, but the floater is the better shot. He took a floater from like 4 feet away, threw it up above the backboard and got it to drop in perfectly. Like taking what should be a very easy shot, but adding the compounding factor of a 7'10" alien swinging its arms and having to do that on the fly. That's the math that impressed me the most.
And the point Tom is making is totally true, but it's also like, it's not like smoking. It's not the magic of TV. One thing that's just so hard for people to understand, and this is almost like the lesson from the Rodin Crater too, is that the NBA it looks almost normal from higher up, where you have the depth perception and all that kind of stuff. When you're down low on the court, especially when watching guys like Victor and Jokic, that's where you're like, oh yeah, these guys are literally the greatest on earth. It is so insane. The speed of the game is so much faster than you could possibly imagine when you're down at court level. It's like, it's kind of scary sometimes. Like I remember a time I was sitting, I was at a Laker game and media seats at Lakers games are like on the baseline, like 4 or 5 rows back. So you can't touch the court, but you're close to it. I remember LeBron thundering down the lane for a dunk, and the entire table I was sitting at shook when he landed on the ground. Like that's how much, and I was like 15, 20 feet away. That's how much power these guys have. So that shot by Jokic, like that was some sort of Artemis 2 shit that he was pulling off there.
You want some perspective on how big these guys are?
Give it to me.
Have Shaq set a screen on you. It's like the Empire State Building. It was like running into the Empire State Building. It was like, because I was on ball and then like, oh, I'm trying to guard the thing, and he just, by the way, he barely touched me. But any of you ever been in a car accident? You ever have whiplash and you hear your neck do that? Like that's exactly what happened. I got whiplash just running into Shaq, and then he probably never even noticed that he touched me.
How many vertebrae are in your spine? Like what percentage would you say that is?
It's less now.
Yeah.
Hold 3 vertebrae.
Mic, hold that mic.
How many? 16? I don't know.
Let me tell you real quick, as someone who knows Wemby, Taco Fall very well, Shaq is still, I think, the most physically striking human being I've ever seen. There's something about the whole freaking mass of him is just wide. It's insane. He's so wide. It's like watching a sequoia walk down the street.
I can't remember. I think it was Jared Dudley. I can't remember who it was. It was one of our younger players. And it's talking about practice. It's like when you're trying to get around his screen, like you try to go under. Tell him to go under on the screen. It's like, I'm trying. He's like 3 miles wide though. It's like to get past him is just a chore. Forget about him touching you. Just to get past him is a chore. Shaq is, I think the hardest thing for people to understand is not just that how big he is, it's but how nimble he was. As someone that size, you'd think he'd be slow and lumbering, and he wasn't. He was very quick on his feet. as far as like the most striking, just large human being ever, I don't think I've been up close with Taco Fall, but Yao Ming was also like a really weird thing to see.
For me, the champ is Boban's hands.
Oh yeah, Boban, yeah.
Like he was in the locker room one time holding a cell phone, and I could have sworn the cell phone was like a little iPod Shuffle.
It's like the phone it's like the phone from Zoolander, right? Like
Will Ferrell. Well, yeah. What was it? It was Jimmy Fallon and Will Ferrell when Will Ferrell walks in or strolls in on the little stroller. Hello? Oh. Yes. Bye-bye. Yeah, I think that's a good comp, is that skit, because Boban's hands, that's just ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Whenever you dap up like someone like Boban, Giannis, like it's always funny when their hand wraps all the way around your hand and like touches their own hand, and you're just like, how is this happening? Like the height thing doesn't really faze me anymore, but whenever they I think I dapped up Wemby the other day and his hand just like envelops my entire body. I was like, oh yeah, he's a little bigger than me.
And your hand is in a cast right now. Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm hurt going into the play-in.
Yeah. Wow.
He didn't want you to write about it. We need to get Jared Weiss to the Rodent Crater. We need to get Jared Weiss to the French Laundry. Got a couple bucket list items to achieve. Hopefully it's a lucrative playoffs for you, man.
It's been going pretty well so far leading into the playoffs. I'm anticipating some more Illuminati appearances, hopefully. I gotta say, the only, you know what would have been on my list, but it's already checked off, is appearing on the Illuminati. Genuinely my favorite pod in the world.
And now
I love you guys.
Third eye open. Wow. Get a little patch for that cowboy hat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, send it over. I'll sew it in right here.
I'm looking at the art of the athletic story you wrote. How Devin Booker's visits to this art icon's hole into space transformed his career. Thank you for transforming this podcast into another portal and dimension, Jared Weiss of The Athletic. Thanks so much, dude. We'll have you back on soon.
You can describe that to the listeners.
It was kind of sexual what you were doing.
Whoa!
In your forehead.
Whoa, okay, I'm taking the hat off then. Jeez.